Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Starting off with the car sitting here behind me, of course, this is the Albany VSTR, which is one of the discounted vehicles this week, one of the many discounted vehicles this week, and it is one of my personal favorite cars in the game. It's based off of the Cadillac CTS V in real life, specifically the 2016 and up model years. This thing's pretty fun to drive, it sounds really cool, and it's got some decent customization and things like that, so pretty interesting one. We're going to talk about it a little bit more later, but for right now, we're going to talk about the money bonuses going on this week. But before we do, drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, and consider subscribing as well if you guys are new or you enjoy this style of content. To get things started, we got double money and double RP on the new Lunar New Year stunt races that are in GTA Online. These have just been added into the game and they're on double money and double RP, so definitely try these out. I'm actually pretty excited about these. I'm going to be trying them this week for sure, so yeah, give these a shot. Also, you get a bonus $100,000 if you win any 2 stunt races in GTA Online. So that's not a bad bonus either. So try to win some races, I guess. And of course, we also have all the Lunar New Year stuff. We got some new outfits and things of that nature. Log into GTA Online this week or next week and you will be able to get them. So that is pretty cool, I must say. There's also some special Lunar New Year things for the Meibatsu Penumbra FF specifically, which is pretty cool. A limited time livery for that car and things like that. But of course, the best bonus of the week is going to be on the nightclub. Now, the nightclub is not fully on bonus, but the best aspect of the nightclub, in my opinion at least, is on bonus, and that's going to be the passive income safe. It is paying double money this week, so if you have maxed popularity, instead of paying $50,000 every 48 minutes, you're going to be getting $100,000 every 48 minutes. So make sure you guys are keeping your popularity up, and make sure you're emptying your safe often, because of course it does max out at $250,000, so if you don't empty it after, 2-day rotations in GTA, you're losing out on 50 grand. So make sure you guys are doing that for sure. Definitely a really good money bonus though. And of course, we also have double money and double RP, as well as double goods on the nightclub good missions from Johan, where you go and you can source nightclub goods for your nightclub basement, which you can then go and sell. So those are going to be double money, double RP, and double goods, which is honestly a pretty good bonus as well. So definitely take advantage of that if it interests you. And of course, starting off with the property discount this week, we have nightclubs, 30% off. So if you don't have a nightclub, I would definitely recommend buying one this week. Upgrades and renovations are also discounted. Now, something to note about the nightclub, you do not need to do anything to the style, the lighting, the name, the dancers, or the dry ice. The only thing that actually matters and will make a difference in your nightclub is going to be the storage. So if you add the extra storage floors to the facility, your nightclub basement will be able to hold more product within it, which in turn means you have to sell less often, and you could sell for way more money when you do go to sell. And this is also advantageous because Tony's laundering cut that he takes, which is 10% of whatever you sell for, maxes out at $1 million or a maximum of $100,000. So anything above $1 million that you sell is actually going to kind of give you more money in the long run, because you're not going to pay any additional laundering cut on anything over $1 million. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. You can also get extra garage floors for your nightclub as well, which is something that I probably would recommend if you're out of space. But if you're not out of space or not even close, you probably don't need to buy them this week, to be honest, but you may want to by the end of the week. You never know. You're going to make a lot of money with a nightclub this week if you are unfamiliar with it. It is a very good business, and the bonus money in the safe is like the best bonus you can get on the nightclub, at least in my opinion. Now, as far as the location goes for the nightclub, I personally like to use the Mission Row nightclub. I really like how the entrance is very well protected in this tiny little alleyway right here. Makes it really hard for griefers and stuff like that to kill you when you're going in and out of your nightclub. It also gives you a place to kind of hide your delivery vehicles if you do get attacked right outside of your nightclub, which is pretty cool. So I like it for that reason. Now, I've heard from a lot of people that the West Vinewood nightclub, as well as the downtown Vinewood nightclub, are both pretty good locations as well. So if it's worth the extra money to you guys, I do think that these locations are probably better as far as the sail missions go. Most of the sail missions are going to be up north above the city. Some of them are going to be in the city though, so no matter what, you're kind of at an advantage because you can go downhill from here, or of course you're at the top of the hill, or at least close to it from up here, so then you can just go downhill once you get over the hills, which is not bad. So these locations are pretty good. If you don't have enough money for these two locations, or you don't like them, I would definitely say the Mission Row nightclub is probably your next best bet, in my opinion at least. Starting off with the vehicle discounts, we have the Buckingham Velatus on the Elitist Travel website. This is the fastest passenger helicopter in the game. It is unarmed, so that is something to note. So if you want an armed heli, this is not one to buy. It is 40% off, which is not a bad discount. The Velatus is also spawnable from your CEO office as well as your agency, so it does make getting around a little bit quicker because it is one of the faster helis in the game in general, but it is the fastest passenger helicopter in the game. I think short of the Kanata, but the Kanata cannot be spawned from your CEO vehicle menu or your agency vehicle menu or anything like that, whereas the Velatus can. So if that's worth it to you, maybe. It does have a bit of an issue when it comes to landing because it is super skinny, so it will tend to tip over a lot, which is kind of frustrating. Overall, it's a decent heli. It really depends how much your time is worth to you. Is it worth saving 5 seconds on a flight to go and do your export mixed goods, for example? It might add up over time. It might save you a couple minutes throughout your GTA lifespan. So if a couple minutes are worth that much money to you, you may want to consider buying it. But for most of you, I'd probably say you don't need it, and I would avoid it. On Legendary Motorsports, starting off in the two-door section, we have the Annis 300R, which is an Amani Tech capable two-door sports car with some really nice customization, and it does have armor plating that can be applied to the sides of it as well. This will allow it to take 4 RPGs or 12 homing missiles. It does have an oil slick proximity mine dropper, and of course the missile lock-on jammer, but unfortunately it does not have front-mounted machine guns like some Amani Tech vehicles, and it also does not have bullet-resistant windows like some Amani Tech vehicles do as well. However, it is a pretty good Amani Tech vehicle. For just under $1.5 million, I do think this thing is probably worth picking up if you're in need of an Amani Tech vehicle. Now, if you already have something like the Bravado Buffalo STX, the Enos Jubilee, the Virtue, bunch of vehicles like that, you probably don't need the 300R realistically, and you'd just be buying it for the customization and just the sake of having it. But for people that need an Amani Tech car, this one isn't necessarily a bad one to pick up, in my opinion at least. I think it's a pretty good car. Scrolling a little further down, we also have the Inventero Coquette D10 for just over $1 million. This is based off the Corvette C8, of course. For this price, I mean, it's not a terrible vehicle. The D10's performance isn't necessarily the best. It is within the sports category, which is a highly contested category as far as performance goes. So it's not going to beat anything like the Grotti Italia GTO, for example, or the Grotti Italia RSX, or the Ocelot Pariah, or certainly not the brand new Banshee GTS. However, it is still a decent car. It's a fun one to customize. It's mid-engine. It's pretty cool. For just over $1 million, like, you kind of can't go wrong with it, but at the same time, if you want performance, this is probably not the car to buy. And under the four-door section on Legendary Motorsport, we have the Albany VSTR that I talked about right at the start of the video for $900,000. You should definitely buy one of these. It is a very, very cool car to drive. Now, keep in mind, like I said with the D10, this thing is within the sports category, which is highly contested, and it will get smoked by probably even a D10, to be honest, as well as the Italia GTO and everything else like that. Granted, it is $100 grand cheaper. The customization is really nice on this thing, as is with the D10. If you want a nice car to customize and just drive around that sounds kind of cool, and maybe drive around with some of your friends because it's a four-door, this is a great car to pick up. If you're chasing, you know, the best performance in the sports category, steer away from this thing, but it is a really fun car for free mode. You can drift it, you can power slide it pretty easily as well. I like the VSTR a lot. I would vouch for this thing personally, but it won't be for everybody certainly, so keep that in mind. Alright, so that's it for the discounts on the websites and everything that I can show you from here. It's time to go to the casino, the car meet, talk about the vehicles that are available in the dealerships and everything like that, so let's go ahead. Within the casino, we got the Grotti Stinger GT available to be won this week. You should absolutely try to win this thing. I think it's a pretty fantastic looking car. Now keep in mind, it does have absolutely zip for customization. Nothing, nada, absolutely nothing you can do to it, but it is a pretty cool looking car. It's also a decent one to drive. I would definitely say to pick this thing up if you can. I mean, it's free, right? So at least try to win it. Within the LS car market, we have the Ubermacht Rebla GTS available to be won this week, and in order to win it, you're gonna have to place first for 3 days in a row, which is not a terrible challenge. The Rebla is actually an awesome SUV, one of the best ones in the entire game. Great customization, great looking vehicle, very good performance. Like, you cannot go wrong with this thing, so definitely try to win this thing. Win trade with a friend for 3 days. It's definitely going to be worth it. All right, and we got these vehicles added back into GTA Online for the remainder of this week. These are all removed vehicles, starting off with the Declassi Vamos here on the left. For $417,200, this thing is 30% off for the remainder of the week. This is an interesting car because it's quite fast in a straight line. The customization's awesome and everything like that. But it does have a pretty big issue, and that is due to advanced handling flags. That will cause this thing to need to turn when you're going fast in a straight line. I can't explain it. It kind of feels like there's air underneath the car that's kind of lifting the front wheels off the ground just a little bit so that they don't have as much grip to be able to steer you where you need to go, or even just keep you going straight. That's the best way I can think to describe it right now. It's a fun car, it's a cool looking car, but it does have issues. So keep that in mind. It is pretty cool though. I would say to buy it this week, especially because it's removed and discounted and everything like that, but it's not a car without flaw. Let's just say that. In the middle, we got the Benefactor Falter. This thing is removed, goes for 145 grand. Somehow, despite being released in 2013, it just recently got kicked out of like the top 10 fastest sports cars in GTA Online. I know that probably sounds crazy, but it's probably within the top 20 still to this day, which is insane. Super cool looking, quite a bit of customization actually too, a shocking amount, and it's removed for 145k. You cannot go wrong with the Falter. And of course, we got the Lampadati Pagal, which is, some people regard it as a really good looking car, others regard it as a super ugly looking car. It's discounted this week by 30% off, going for $280,000. I would say for 280 grand, it might be worth it to you. For most people, I'm going to say it's probably not. But it's kind of cool at the same time. It kind of has a bit of a charm to it. I don't know how to explain it, but you may want to consider picking it up. For 280k, it's not like it's the biggest loss of all time if you don't like it, but I would definitely say to give it a test drive before purchasing, for sure. Alright, and within Simeon's, we got quite a few removed vehicles, starting off with the Western Damon here on the left. I don't even know how much this thing costs. 167 grand? Seems a little steep, honestly, especially when you can buy a body for 15 grand. But if you're interested, I mean, it could be kind of cool. It's got flames on it, which is kind of neat. I don't honestly have an opinion, so I'm not really going to advise you. I do think that price seems a little steep, especially in comparison to the Body 801, but what do I know about motorcycles? Not a hell of a lot. So we're going to talk about the Hijack Rustin, or the Hijack Rustin, depending on how you want to say it. This thing's a pretty fun little track toy in GTA Online. It can go around corners pretty quickly. It's very lightweight feeling. It's a nice car to drive, and it's also discounted this week as well, which is pretty cool, going for $308,000. Not a bad price overall. Not a whole lot in the way of customization, and you know you cannot put a roof on it, in case you were wondering. It's a cool car, but it's hard to say. For 308 grand, like, I want to say you might as well buy one, but it's not going to be the greatest car ever. It's kind of like the VSTR, it's kind of like the Invitero Cockpit D10. It's like, if you want it, you want it, but it's not going to win you any races. That's the thing to keep in mind. Cool car though. I think it's pretty neat. For 300 grand, I would probably buy another one. Next up, we got the Dundreary Landstalker XL with the blood splattered livery all over it, going for $1,243,000. Honestly, a little bit too expensive. I love the Landstalker XL. I think it's a fantastic SUV. Great customization. Performance, not that incredible, but not terrible either. But for that price, not discounted, I kind of can't really recommend it. Despite it being a removed vehicle, and I think it's very cool, it's just simply not really worth that much money, in my honest opinion. Next up, we got the Dubachi Rapid GT added back into the game. This thing is $132,000. That's correct. I'm actually going to buy one. Actually, I'll do that off camera. But the Rapid GT, pretty cool car. notoriously the best drift car in OG GTA Online next to the Karen Futo, which is pretty cool. By stancing it, you can drift it super well. Not that we need to be able to do that anymore because we have drift tuning now, but it is a pretty cool car. A little bit of customization. It does have a bit of an understeer issue. Overall, I like it for 132 grand. I'd say it's probably going to be a good car for you for that price. I mean, it's so cheap, why not? Yeah, you'll probably use it. You should probably buy one. It's removed. Yeah, why not? Next up, we got Trevor's truck, or the Canis Bodie. I think it's 45 grand if I'm not mistaken. Oh, 25 grand. I mean, for 25k, yeah, man, just buy the thing. Like, why not, right? My disappointment is immeasurable at Luxury Autos. Once again, we have the Imterra Coquette D1 and the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, both of which can just be found on Legendary Motorsport. Right here and right here. So nothing too crazy there. I do think that these liveries might be unique and something to do with Lunar New Year. Can't 100% say for sure, but they definitely look, I don't know, they might be available regularly. Somebody will let us know in the comment section down below, I'm sure, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. Alright, and within the chop shop, these are the vehicles that are available to be stolen this week. The True Fade Thrax, that's going to be available by completing the Podium Robbery. The Vapid Dominator ASP is available by completing the Duggan Robbery, and of course the Vapid Click is available by completing the Cargo Ship Robbery. However, none of these vehicles are actually claimable, so you cannot keep them and turn them into a personal vehicle, which does kind of suck, so keep that in mind. The priority file for the week within the Garment Factory is the black box file, so it's going to be paying double this week, so that's interesting for those of you that care. Your time trials for the week. Of course, your OC Bandito for today is Cypress Flats. Your Junk Energy for today is Mirror Park. Your regular time trial is down Chiliad, and your HSW time trial is going to start right here at the Quartz building, and it is going to end at the bottom of Mount Gordeau. So anyway, guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in GTA Online. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Till then, take care. Peace.